it's Mia here, and as the title of this video suggests, we are going to be talking about Riverdale. Now, before I even bother getting into what this show is about, because it's a little crazy, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the main characters. We have Jughead, Betty, Archie, Veronica, and Cheryl. Now, I know that Riverdale was originally based on what was called an Archie comic, but this show, I don't even know if this show knows what it's trying to be. First off, the main characters are supposed to be 16 through 18 in the years of the seasons, but they act like they're 30-year-old adults. And at times, there are times when all the characters act more mature than the ones playing their parents. And I'm like, are you high school kids or are you 30-year-olds? Make up your mind. And not to mention, have any of the writers of this show actually heard how teenagers even talk? Because they do not talk like normal teens would talk. Especially the worst example of this weird dialogue in this show is Cheryl by far. Like, she does not talk like a modern day teenager. She talks like she's from the 1800s or something. I don't know who wrote her character, but a lot of times I'm like, what are you even saying? And not to mention, speaking of Cheryl, she's a little bit insane. I mean, I know all the characters have their demons, but Cheryl, she's a little crazy. I mean, she burns her mother alive at one point, freaking keeps her brother's dead body mummified in her house because she can't let him go. And I know that people grieve in different ways, but that's a bit messed up. Now, there's also Jughead. I like that Cody, or Cole Sprouse, who plays Cody in The Sweet Life on Deck and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, is still acting. It's nice to see them still acting. And I really enjoy how he portrays his character of Jughead. He's this misunderstood, wrong side of the tracks, father was in a gang, boy, but he just wants to be a writer and do what he loves. And being an avid reader, as you guys may know from my channel, I like Jughead's character because he is an author. I'm a sucker for Cody from Zack and Cody. I wish his brother was still acting too, but hey, it is what it is. I've always liked Cole's acting, even though on Disney Channel it's a little cheesy, and admittedly, it's still really cheesy in Riverdale. Betty, for the most part, I think the one who played Betty was good at her character as she was written. I had no complaints. And Veronica's character, or the one who plays Veronica, I liked all their acting all around. It was just the writing for this show is really weird, and it's like they've never heard any real teens talk, especially whoever wrote Cheryl. Because, oh my goodness, half the time I'm like, did we step into like Shakespeare over here with her talking? And her character is not only insane from what she does, but she is the pretentious, annoying, rich girl, popular cheerleader, like Sharpay from High School Musical. But she's like 10 times worse than Sharpay with the way she talks. And it's just, oh, I don't even know where to begin. It's not the actors or the actresses' fault in any way. It's how they wrote her. But I commend her character, or her actress, for having to put up with those terrible lines. But anyway, let's get into the actual meat of the show, because this show is confusing. I just thought I'd talk about the characters first before I went ahead and talked about the actual meat of the show. Now, thinking that the show was made on the Archie comics, I thought the main character of the show was supposed to be Archie Andrews, our resident boxer, football player, tough guy, who is trying to be like Batman. But it seems like Jughead is more the main character because we get to see through his eyes or his head in the inner monologue and the ending monologue, or sometimes through the episode. We get to hear like his monologuing throughout the show, but we don't get to see that really with Archie. And the reason I'm talking about this show now is because I didn't talk about shows and movies on my channel then, and I just finished season 4 a couple days ago, so that's why I'm talking about it now. So, the whole time, even though it's the Archie comics, I'm thinking Jughead is more the main character. And him and Betty have better chemistry than him and I just said his name. Jeez, come on me, I just said his name. Archie. Betty and Jughead have better chemistry than Archie and Veronica. I like them better. And it just seems like Jughead stole the show out from under Archie. I don't know if they meant it to be that way, but it does. And Archie has this like hero complex or this like vigilante-ness to him, and he just wants to help people, but he goes about it the wrong way. And at first, we have the whole mystery of who killed Cheryl's brother, because like I said, he was dead or is dead. But we have that whole mystery the first season, and then we have like the Black Hood and the gang wars between the Southside Serpents, which is Jughead's dad's gang and later his gang, and then the Ghoulies? The Ghoulies. Yeah, the Ghoulies. They're called the Ghoulies. So we have at first a murder mystery, then it goes into like gang war territory with this other stuff thrown in with the Black Hood, like who's killing all these kids, and then we go to like freaking cults and just drugs, and then there's this whole Dungeons and Dragons deal going on, which was admittedly my favorite part of the season so far because I liked the Dungeons and Dragons or theme going on. They called it Goblins and Gargoyles, I think, but I'm just going to call it Dungeons and Dragons because let's admit it, that's what it is, Dungeons and Dragons. So I really liked the Dungeons and Dragons plotline because it's like you're no longer playing this as just a role-playing game, and then you got these drugs on top of it, which is making everybody think that it's all just the game that's coming to life, when actually behind the scenes there's this whole plot with the adults and all this other stuff going on behind the scenes, and making the Gargoyle King and the game way too real than it ever should be, because normally you're just writing on paper or acting out voices with your friends or whatever, not actually trying to survive the game. And it gets really dark when there's poison getting involved and all this stuff. But now, with that, with the cult and the Dungeons and Dragons and the drugs, all in one season, this season, season 4, which I just finished, starts with Jughead talking about, like, we get flashes back and forth, and Jughead ends up being found dead, which I think flashing back to the murder before it even happened kind of ruins the suspense, or like the whole shock of Jughead being dead. Like, I wish they would have just went ahead and did the episode normally in chronological order, and then he died when we thought he died. But they don't do that. They jump around so often that I'm already like, this isn't shocking. Jughead's dead. I'm sure he's going to end up fine in the end of it, because for some reason in CW shows, hardly anybody ever stays dead. So we go from murdering parents to gang fighting and drugs, and and then cults and all this stuff to evil book clubs. And being an avid reader, like Jughead is an avid writer, I'm like, okay, apparently now book clubs are evil? What is happening in this show? And like, Jughead gets into this school he really wants to go to because they let him in once they found out about his stories. And he quickly starts to realize that this school may not be everything that he thinks it is, because the people that became ghostwriters, as they call it, to write a certain series, ended up missing. Every single one of them that wrote these stories ended up disappeared. And so Jughead is like, well, am I going to be next? Because I might be chosen to be the next ghostwriter. So him, Betty, all go through and try to figure out what this school is really up to. They're up to their usual snooping and finding clues and being like, well, this can't happen. And there's just this, apparently book clubs are evil now and you shouldn't join them because they're all like a cult or a secret society and they're just gonna make you disappear. No one's ever gonna see you again. I don't even know what this show is trying to be at this point. And honestly, can we talk about Betty's lockpicking skills? Is there nothing this girl cannot pick with a freaking bobby pin? I know shows and video games and movies usually make picking locks look really simple, but I swear this girl's got her lockpicking skills on 200 out of 100 because she literally can pick anything with a lockpick. I'm pretty sure she could shove her freaking bobby pin in a computer and figure out the password. That's an exaggeration, but that's what it seems like. Just pull a bobby pin out, lock, 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 there you go, I'm in. There is nothing that girl cannot pick with a freaking bobby pin. So that comes in handy. But, like, I don't even know what is going on in this show. Honestly, it's kind of like American Horror Story in a way. I might talk about that later. But I don't know, I think the writing in this is horrible. Like, have any of them ever heard of teen speak? Because nobody talks like that in real life, especially teens. But my biggest gripe about this show is that they don't seem to know what they want the show to be. And honestly, with them getting ready to go off to college here soon, because they are on the 4th season, actually 18, and they're even talking about getting scholarships to college and all that. With them going to college, there has to be at least one more season because the way they left season 4. But I don't think there's going to be another season after season 5 because everyone is going off to college, and I feel like it would get really annoying and really money grubby for them to keep the series going, because how are we gonna freaking work with these characters if they're all in separate states going to different colleges and all this stuff? Unless they pull the money grubbing trick of having a whole different cast of characters come in to fill the next seasons, which I really hate when shows do that, because it's like we're starting the whole series over again from scratch. I want to see the characters' journeys that we started out watching the show for, not some new strangers that just come in to fill in more seasons. So I really don't know what they're going to do past season 5, but they left us with a heck of a cliffhanger in season 4, so I know there's bound to be a season 5, and they already announced that there might be a season 5 coming, but this might be their last season, is season 5, because I don't see how they can continue. Do I like the show? Yes. Do I think it's cheesy and the writing needs to be reviewed? Very much so. But there's a charm to it. Like I said, I'm a sucker for mysteries. I'm a sucker for detective stories. So I really enjoyed Riverdale, even with its craziness. It is so bizarre. I could sit here all day and tell you all the bizarre shit that goes on in this show, but I'd just rather you watch it. So, what are your thoughts on Riverdale? Let me know your favorite part of the series, and if you have an anime, a show, or a movie that you want to recommend, pop it down in the comments. Maybe I'll watch it or whatnot. Okay, hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.